Coach, how much do you credit Russ for getting you out of that lull in the third quarter?
Well, I credit all the guys. I mean, yeah, Russ was great tonight, but, it's never just one person that ignites a break or a comeback. Obviously, we were down by 16 points at one time. And to Ryan's point, we lost another first quarter. But, again, viewership is up. But yeah, I mean, Russ is 29, 6-6, and Nikola Jokic. I mean, that's one of the most complete games I've seen him play. The 23, 20, 16, but he had 8 deflections, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was our defensive player of the game. I thought he was outstanding. CB, 4 of 8 from 3, shooting the ball with no hesitation, great confidence. Michael Porter, 24 and 7. So, to beat a team like OKC, Vic, it takes everybody. But obviously for a 17-year vet to have that kind of a game was tremendous, and I'm really happy for us.
Does Nikola stress you out at all with some of the inbound pass there at the end to Payton over the top? Or?
Not at all. Yeah, I mean, it's they score, and there's no need for us to rush. Yeah, I mean, and we throw it ahead, and obviously, Payton goes to the foul line. He doesn't make them. But the best part about that, Bennett, and you already know this, is that Peyton Watson misses 2 free throws. But on the other end, doesn't drop his head, isn't in his feelings. He makes a play at the rim against one of the favorites for MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a game-saving block. And that's what you love about Peyton Watson. And that was a huge, huge block, obviously. So we're proud of him for recovering after the free throws and helping us, give them their first loss.
Coach, what does it do for young players to come up big repeatedly, multiple times, back-to-back games like Peyton did, and those big moments late?
Well, your hope is that it just, gives them more and more confidence. That was a question that was asked, I think, by Vic pregame. Peyton hits a huge 3 in our last game to help us win. Tonight he hits another big 3. He makes a game-saving block. He's in the game to close games. Like, you can't replicate that in any situation. Being in the game, close games, and now you're doing it against a undefeated team that's beaten us 4 straight times. So you hope for. I mean, I looked out there. I said, man. And that group was playing so well. I was going to get Russ back in, but man, CB and Julian and Michael and Peyton Nikola playing great. They got us a lead. And then you get Russ back in late, but you just hope it builds some character and some confidence.
You had 9 fast break points at half, and you had 10 in the third quarter. And it seemed like when you guys pushed the pace on them, that sped up their offense as well. Was that a big part of what you saw as the turnaround in the third quarter? Yeah,
it was something that we stressed. If you can't play the #1 defense in the NBA in the half court, it's just a losing proposition. They're too good. Obviously, I think in that first quarter, our turnovers were out of control. We had 18 for 23 in the game. That's an area that we have to clean up. But I felt, that was a message at halftime again, like, fellas, we have to get out and run against them. If this is a half-court game, it's in their advantage. So to finish with 21 fast break points and the turnovers got so much better in that second half, that cut down their break and that cut down their paint points. And, I felt if you can force them to play a half-court game, and we tried a lot of different things tonight. We zoned, we blitzed, we hit, knowing we were undermanned. I said going into the game, we have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Let's be aggressive. And our guys did a hell of a job of staying with it throughout.
Coach, you got the ball. When you got the tech in the third quarter,
Finally, a good question.
Yes. You're obviously making the case for Joker, but are you also looking for a spark, or is that just happenstance?
No, I think it's a combination. Yeah, I mean, I'd say 95% of my texts are, have a plan behind it. And so, to your point, I feel like Nikola's getting beat up, and I got to fight. I mean, everything Nikola's done for this city, this team, this franchise, me, my family, I'm going to fight for that guy, and anybody else in our team. But it's also like, hey, man, I don't know what we were down at that point, but whatever the run is from that tech after, we got back in the game. And so you're hoping to kind of light a fire under a guy. Hey, let's keep fighting. We're not going to just kind of go gently into the good night. Let's fight and stay around and see what happens. And that's been a common theme. That's one thing. I'm not proud of the fact we haven't won a first quarter. I'm proud of the fact, though, we don't get down and we don't quit. We stay with it. And that's the sign of a champion, in my opinion.
Coach, and that shoot the ball poorly, but Does it go into your head when they're missing a couple of layups or gimmies here and there, and you guys are keeping it close, that it might be just one of those nights where if y'all make enough plays down the stretch, they're allowing, you guys to stay in the game instead of running away, like maybe they have in other games?
Yeah, I don't know. They're a good team. They're not going to go away. They're going to stay with it. We had a couple of great possessions, and I told our players at halftime, I said, fellas, we don't have a margin of error tonight. And we got 2 key guys out. So we can't allow Shea to go coast to coast like he did in the second quarter. We can't allow Shea to drive away from the double team. We can't play great defense for 22 seconds and give him an offensive rebound for an easy putback. I think they had 18 second chance points. But, yeah, you can say it wasn't their night, but that second half, man, I thought our defense, we were flying around, covering for each other, and it wasn't always right, but we had a fly-around mentality and played with great multiple effort.
Coach, can you make a case that Jokic's defense is a lot better than advertised, particularly in that second half? He made Shea dribble the ball off his foot, got a turnover, he was double teaming on every play. He was just going all out.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I've been with him for 10 years now. And for anybody that said that Nikola Jokic is not a good defender, I would question their basketball intelligence, and I would question how much film they're really watching. Because you don't have to be athletic guy blocking shots and pinning them on the glass to be a good defender. You don't have to be a great athlete to be a good defender. Nikola Jokic has tremendous intelligence. He has the best anticipation I've ever seen, and he has a want and a will to win. And he's the anchor of our defense. We were top 8 last year in defense. And Nikola's contest numbers, deflection numbers, and you talk about it, all the pick and rolls, all the actions that he's put in, he's a thoroughbred. He's able to go play through all of that and make plays on the other end as well when he's getting doubled and triple teamed every night. So it's incredible. We know who Nikola is. I think he's a great defensive player, and I think he's proven that time and time and time again.
Michael Porter was 1 for 6 from the field at halftime, and it seems like OKC has been pretty good at taking him out of his comfort zone at times. What were you guys able to do to kind of unlock him more in the second half?
Well, yeah, well, I think Michael being aggressive, we ran a bunch of plays to get him looks, and I think they're a great defensive team. They have some really good defensive players, and if you're going to try to get somebody open, you have to screen. So Michael's setups, creating a lead, and the screens, creating some sort of separation. Michael at 6'10", and the way he shoots the ball, doesn't need a ton of it. And it was great to see him get going, because that was one thing we said at half. Like, Russ had a good first half. We have Nikola. We need a third scorer. We need somebody else, so we're not going to Nikola every time down the floor. And Michael answered the bell, CB answered the bell, and I thought Julian had a couple of big plays. Again, 9 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds for Julian Strawther off the bench are great numbers for a kid who's still a rookie.
Andy, go ahead. Michael, I think there was a stretch in the third quarter where Russ scored or assisted on 15 straight points for you guys, and there was moments where he was just pointing at people, kind of showing them where to go and what to do. Is he ahead of where you thought he might be 8 games in that regard?
Yeah, well, I think he's been incredible for us. You look at the offensive productivity tonight. I think defensively he's been a rock star. I mean, and what I love about Russell Westbrook, 17-year vet, Leopards don't change their spots, but he is trying so hard to be, like, disciplined. He's trying to do the things we're asking him to do. And I appreciate that so much, because at 17 years in, a lot of times you are who you are, but he cares, man. He is so invested in this team and what he's bringing to this team, and he's so hard on himself. But like I love the fact I can coach a guy like Russell Westbrook any day, because he is a competitor and he's a tough dude, and I want him in my foxhole.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate everybody.
Russ and CB tonight.